Soy is a famous ingredient found in tofu, soy sauce, and soy milk. Now, besides these foods, we actually consume a lot more soy than you think. It's in a surprising number of products that you can find in the supermarket. And this week, I want to find out why it's there and if it's safe to eat.
Soy. We've all heard of it. Despite its worldwide fame, is soy actually healthy or toxic? Does it really reduce fertility in men? And are there dangers in how soy sauce is produced? Let's investigate the mighty soy.
Soy has been cultivated in China for over 3,000 years, and today it's a very important global commodity, and over 200 million tons of soybeans are grown worldwide each year.
Soy is grown the world over, but key export markets are India, China, and Australia. The vast majority of the soy that we eat is first grown in large fields such as this one in Australia.
Soy is no longer just for vegetarians.
But just how common is it in everyday food?
You might be surprised. It's human experiment time, and this one involves a secret mission. We put a couple on a soy-rious test. Matthew is a lover of meat, and he likes his fuss-free food in a hurry, whilst Lisa is a strict vegetarian who gives a loving touch to her daily meals. Now, both are going to go head-to-head on a food detective shopping spree to find out, is it the carnivore or the vegetarian who has a higher intake of soy in their shopping carts? Now get those trolleys moving.
I'm a staunch meat eater. I like comfort food, I like things which are quick and easy. If you want soy, the wife will be up for that. She keeps trying to feed me tofu.
As a vegetarian, I do have tofu, so I do have soy in my diet. I tend to buy fresh produce. I enjoy cooking, so I like to take my time. I like to read the labels on things, make sure that it's all natural ingredients or as much as possible.
This is the trolley of a fast and furious shopper, plenty of convenience foods. And surprise, surprise, many of these products actually have soy in them. Out of 31 items Matthew picked, a whopping 27 of them contain soy.
Oh no, I didn't realise there was so much soy in the things that I eat. I thought it was for vegetarians. And bread as well, what?
Fresh is always best for vegetarian Lisa, but only 2 out of 40 items in her trolley actually contain soy.
Wow, I'm quite surprised how many products my husband chose that had soy in it. Considering I'm the vegetarian, you'd think that I'd have more soy in my diet. Yeah, it's good to know and slightly amusing to me, considering I've been trying to get into eat tofu for years.
What an outcome! You've seen that soy is found in so many of the products that we buy, from packaged convenience foods to fresh products. It's even found in burgers and bread. So it just goes to show that it always pays to read the label. We've learned that soy is found in many different types of foods. One of the reasons it's so popular, especially in Asian cuisine, is the presence of protein.
Soya bean is what I call a plant chicken. Basically, you can transform it into any kind of meat because it's got the similar to meat composition. So that's precisely why all of the vegetarian chickens are made from soya.
Soy contains lots of protein. It also contains fiber, magnesium, iron, calcium, and other minerals. So generally, it's good for health. It's been found to be good for the heart because it lowers the bad cholesterol, the LDL cholesterol. It's good for bone density because it contains calcium. And many studies have shown that it reduces the risk of developing breast cancer.
The best would be to eat the whole soya, like edamame, or even things like tempeh or soya paste, and products that are made from whole beans. So it is quite important to remember that the soya bean per se has a greater effect on reducing cholesterol than simple isolates like even tofu.
A lot of us have grown up eating tofu, and we've often been told that it's good for us. You find it in popular dishes like yong tau fu and the really yummy dessert tau hui. But at the end of the day, is it all it's cracked up to be?
For vegetarians, it is better for you to choose tofu over mock meat because mock meat is mainly made out of flour and water and some other additives, and it's usually deep fried. So tofu is a better alternative for you to get your protein intake.
Here's a better breakdown of how soy foods compare to animal products when it comes to overall protein. We get 8 grams of protein in every 100 grams of tofu. The same amount of beef has 27 grams. That's 19 grams more. If tofu doesn't have as much protein as animal products, why eat it? Compared to animal meat, tofu can be considerably lower in saturated fat. Beef steak has 6 times as much as tofu. That's great for people who need to pay special attention to their fat intake. Soy milk and bean curd are a ubiquitous sight in many hawker centers, and I'm curious to find out exactly how it's made. Fresh soybeans are soaked for up to 5 hours, after which they're rinsed to get rid of as much of the skin as possible. Once it's ready, it goes into the industrial soybean grinder, where it will extract the milky goodness from the bean. The milk will then need to be cooked for 20 to 25 minutes before it's ready for consumption.
Soy milk has got a very similar composition to cow's milk, about 3 to 4% fat, 2 to 3% protein, and about 4% carbohydrate. And so it's a very good substitute for dairy milk, especially for those suffering from an allergic reaction to dairy products.
Milk is a major source of calcium, which helps to strengthen our bones and our teeth. Does soy milk give us the same amount of calcium? Unlike regular cow's milk, the calcium in soy milk must be added. Because of this, the amount of calcium in soy milk brands range from 200 to 400 milligrams per cup. High calcium cow's milk, on the other hand, has an average of 500 milligrams. Choosing between soya milk, regular cow's milk, and any other type of milk really depends on the individual's needs. But always remember to read the back of the labels of the milk that you purchase to make sure that it contains the right amount of calcium and nutrients that you and your family require. Don't go anywhere, because when we return, we'll explore some of the controversies about soy. Does soy affect our hormones? And is soy sauce contaminated with cancer-causing chemicals that put us in danger? Welcome back to Food Detective. So far, I've learned that we're eating a lot more soy than we realize. There's soy in bread, in our cereal, in processed meats, and a whole bunch of other foods. But are there any dangers in eating soy that we should be wary of?
Soy is thought to be linked to cancer. However, I do not think this is true. In fact, I think that soy has a protective effect against cancer. And this is because soy contains isoflavones, which is a type of phytoestrogen. Phytoestrogens mimic the action of estrogen, binding to the estrogen receptor site, thereby reducing the activity of estrogen, and in this way, this helps to reduce cancer risk.
Eating soy and soy products does bring about benefits for heart health, bone health, and breast cancer reduction. However, recent research suggests that excess consumption of soy products may exacerbate breast cancer, so there appears to be some fine balance between how much of these soy products we can consume for all the optimum health benefits, and that remains a great challenge for future research.
Red flags have been raised about phytoestrogen's potential effects on the fertility of adult men and effects on unborn children while still in the womb. While the jury's still out, medical and health professionals differ in their views to whether soy really plays a significant role in baby making.
We are eating too much of phytochemicals, and these chemicals are actually feminizing compounds. So too much, actually, it would interfere with the endocrine system. So we should avoid it, especially boys in growing age, for fear it might interfere with the sex hormone.
Soy has been part of Asian diet for hundreds of years. There's no medical evidence that shows that soy makes women infertile or men more effeminate.
Besides phytoestrogens, another concern about soy is the presence of anti-nutrients, which can interfere with the absorption of beneficial nutrients from the food that we eat.
Phytates are a group of chemical compounds whose primary action is to bind or to chelate the ions that we consume. So in other words, they act like a crab's claw, catching the iron and the calcium and the minerals so that they're not made available to the human body. When you process soya into different forms of soy products, most of the phytates will be lost. Therefore, you can eat your tofu or your soya milk quite comfortably because the processing conditions have either removed or eliminated most of the phytates.
That's good news. As long as food is treated correctly, then anti-nutrients shouldn't cause any concerns.
When I say soy, what's the first thing that springs to mind? Soy sauce!
Soy sauce has been around for thousands of years. We love to sprinkle, dip, and even pour it onto all things yummy from steak, fish, eggs, sushi, and beyond. So let's find out the inner workings of this popular condiment. Soy sauce is made from fermented soybeans, but before that, the beans are mashed and salt and enzymes are added to form a mixture.
In almost every Asian home, you're gonna find a bottle or 2 or 3 of soy sauce stashed somewhere. And while most of us get our fill from off-the-store shelves, I'm going straight to the source. Why? Because that's what food detectives like to do.
And there's no one better than Soy Man Thomas to show me just how it's concocted. Our first stop, the fermentation tanks.
So Thomas, how does this process work? What goes on here?
We need to ferment our soybean. We need the fresh air to go in to help him to fermentation. I will show you.
And look at that bubbling, and that's boiling, and it smells delicious.
Yes.
Now, what is in there? I'm seeing some beans.
We're using 19% salt water to add inside after the fermentation bean.
So how long does it have to sit here in these tanks?
We keep inside this tank, need at least 5 months because we are naturally brewed soy sauce.
And how do you monitor how long it's been here and what the batches are?
Every tank, we got a date, we got a schedule to process all this.
Right? This looks very modern. What is this made of?
This is the FRP tank. We're using fiberglass. Different with last time. Last time we used jar. Now we're using new technology, but we still maintain the traditional process.
These 13-ton fiberglass tanks allow the heat from the sun to naturally ferment the beans. Next, Thomas shows me the age-old way, using traditional clay jars.
This is what we call Hainan jars.
Rows and rows. It's like being in ancient China.
Very traditional type. Already 3,000-year history.
Look at that. So green and so fresh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And these jars are very hot.
Yes, of course. This one is today just go into the clay jar. This one, you see the date, it's already 9 months.
9 months. Oh, and look at that. You can tell the color difference immediately.
Big difference.
So here you have dark brown or chocolate brown, and here it's still green. How important is the quality of the soya bean to the production of your sauce?
Our bean is very important because bean is our raw material, first raw material. We're using the special quality white hedums. It's very good, clean, high protein, and some more important that it's non-GMO.
So I understand that your method of making soy sauce is traditional, but I also know that there are others that actually manufacture it chemically. What's that process like?
Oh, it's very different. The 10 days they can produce the soy sauce, but we cannot. We are naturally brewed. We take 8 to 9 months for the clay jar. For the fermentation tank, we need 5 months or so. It's very different compared to the chemical type of soy sauce.
Chemically brewed soy sauce, it uses the soya meal and add with the strong acid, hydrochloric acid, to take out the amino acids. Then, because it's so acidic, so it has to add the alkalizing agent, sodium bicarbonate, to make it more pH balanced. But the process will form the sodium chloride. This is the reason why the chemically formed soy sauce is very salty.
I've seen some of the raw ingredients that go into making soya sauce, so let's have a look. Water, soybean, sugar, salt, wheat flour, and look at this, sodium benzoate. Now I recognize that name as being a preservative, so let's find out. What is it really?
Sodium benzoate is a very common food preservative. It is also known as E211. It is generally considered to be safe. However, there's some fear that when mixed with ascorbic acid or vitamin C, they form benzene. And large amounts of benzene can damage the liver, the kidneys, and may cause cancer. So in general, we should read the food labels carefully. If it contains sodium benzoate or E211, we should avoid taking the food with citrus fruits like oranges, lemons, which may contain vitamin C.
Some soy sauces may contain carcinogenic compounds. The AVA ensures that all sauces are safe for human consumption, but how do they find out?
Today we're doing the test for 3-MCPD in 3 soya sauce samples. It's important to do this test because 3-MCPD is carcinogenic. It's a byproduct in the production of acid hydrolyzed protein, which is used in the production of soya sauce.
Salt and a standard solution are added into the sample to dilute it. Then, it's transferred and washed with a solvent. Next, it's dried and the concentrated extract is obtained. Agents are dripped into the sample so that it can be analyzed.
This is the internal standard for the 3-MCPD that we have spiked into the sample to locate where we would find a 3-MCPD peak. So for the 3 samples here, the peak for the 3-MCPD is very small, and so is present in negligible amounts and not of much concern.
Coming up, we hit the streets to put chemically and naturally brewed soy sauce to an ultimate taste test and address the sticky situation of genetically modified soy crops. Earlier, we discovered how much time and effort goes into naturally brewed soy sauce production.
It smells delicious.
Yes.
Now, I'm interested to find out what happens once it leaves the fermentation tanks. To extract the tasty goodness from the beans, the fermented soy have to go through the many layers of the presser. The sauce is then collected and packaged by the machines into bottles.
So how many bottles pass through here every day?
We one day can produce at least 20,000 bottles of soy sauce. Yeah.
So what's the difference between light and dark soy sauce?
Light sauce, no need to add any caramel. Dark sauce, we add caramel.
But the fermentation process is the same whether it be light or dark soy sauce?
All the same.
Only after?
All the same. Only after when you're cooking at times, you add the sugar caramel. That's right. This is the difference only.
So I've noticed with dark soy sauce that some consistencies are thicker than others. Why is that?
They add a lot of caramel. Something like 1 bottle of soy sauce, 10% soy sauce, and 90% sugar caramel. A lot of consumers, they don't know. They say it must very dark, must very sticky, then call good soy sauce.
See, and a lot of you thought the thicker the better. I bet you didn't know that. Thank you so much, Thomas.
Okay, thank
for
you.
all your help today and showing me how this is made.
Later we'll use soy sauce.
Oh, really? You heard him, right? He's gonna give me soy sauce. All right, let's go.
Okay, let's go.
So it seems like Thomas is really a man of his word. And in my hands is a bottle of 3,000 years of history. Remember, it takes about 6 to 9 months for this bottle to actually end up on your table. It truly is a labor of love. I have 2 different types of soy sauce with me today. Here in the green cup is naturally brewed soy sauce. In the blue cup is chemically brewed soy sauce. And I'm just curious which one most people will prefer. And go ahead and try this one.
Okay. I prefer the blue one. The green one tastes a little more soury.
I like the blue better. It's not quite as salty.
Green.
I prefer the green one.
I think I preferred the blue. It had a richer flavor.
Which one do you prefer, the green or the blue?
Blue.
I think I like the green one better.
Orange one. I prefer the green one.
I like the blue one, I think, better.
I prefer the blue because the taste is more natural and it's more smooth.
What can we take away from this little experiment? Well, interestingly enough, most people preferred the chemically brewed soy sauce. Most of them thought that it was less salty and had more of a natural taste. But if you really think about it, it's not that much of a surprise, because chemically brewed soy sauce does contain flavor enhancers and caramel to give it that sticky sweetness. Of course, at the end of the day, it all boils down to preference, but one thing's for sure, our taste buds can be easily fooled. Personally, I love adding soy sauce to just about any kind of food, but there's one ingredient in soy sauce that we need to watch out for: salt.
Singaporeans eat far too much sodium in their diets. We should be having 2,000 milligrams a day. However, right now we're currently having more than 5,000 milligrams of sodium a day. So that's very excessive. So we should find ways to cut down our sodium intake.
In 2011, HPB's Center of Excellence for Nutrition declared a war on salt. This program highlights healthier food options with less salt, including soy sauces.
If you have to pick a seasoning, go for soy sauce rather than the salt.
If we compare soy sauce and salt gram for gram, 1 teaspoon of salt contains 2,000 milligrams and a teaspoon of soy sauce contains 400 milligrams. So that shows you that soy sauce contains a lot less sodium than salt.
Modern times call for modern technology. Nowadays, 60% of the world's soy crops are grown from genetically modified plants.
Both science and the media have argued this touchy subject since it became a mainstream farming technique. On the one hand, GMO increases crop yield and promotes efficient land use. It's created a sustainable way to feed the world, especially those less fortunate. On the other hand, we are messing with the complex system of Mother Nature and delving into the unknown. Food allergies skyrocketed by 50% in the UK soon after GM soy was introduced. In tests, mice fed GM soy showed disturbed liver, pancreas, and testes functions. But GMO soy has not had such traceable effects on humans. The debate rages on.
What have we learned about soy today? It's found in many different types of processed foods, and while there may be the possibility of negative health effects, you don't have to kick it out completely because there are health benefits as well. Just remember to keep an eye out for the news or any science reports, because there are always new developments when it comes to soy or soy products.